The gaming industry is running out of time. Their stupid, idiotic decisions are finally catching up in what I believe will cause a massive shock to the industry that I think will happen as soon as 2027. I am the one who will not, and today we're going to talk about this gaming revolution and what I think is going to happen. The first big factor, however, is Grand Theft Auto 6. So everyone wants Grand Theft Auto 6 except for me. That's besides the point. Basically, it's gonna come out. It's gonna be this wonderful experience. Console sales are up. Everything is up. Everybody is buying games and systems. But after the high is the hangover, and it is going to make every game just not sell. Because why would you buy in any experience? And will it be $80? You know how many companies are gonna try getting $80 games only for them to fail miserably? Because one, you're pricing yourself as much as GTA 6. And the only reason Mario Kart got away with being $80 is because you could buy it for $50. When they stopped the $50 bundle, the one where it's 50, sales fell off a cliff. And this next thing is also when they do the GTA 6 online, which they haven't confirmed, but we all know it's basically gonna happen. That's gonna cause a bit of a shock to live service games, because now you're competing with GTA 6. Yeah. Anyways, because of GTA 6 being such a big event, so many games are coming out before it. It's ridiculous. Stop kidding game. So this is gonna take place some part in 2027, which is when this will, start to occur. Because GTA 6's hangover will only take place in 2027. So stop kidding games. The industry has been lying to the government just to get their way of not having this pass through. But it's gonna pass through. So we get two stop kidding games, and then suddenly all these companies are even further like, oh no, they can't just do whatever they feel like, and the live service games are again really fractured as this controller is. Then the next big factor is going to be the AI bubble starting its burst. Now, this is a bubble. Even Sam Altman of OpenAI has said that. And oh, by the way, it's not been $100 billion. We know that now. However, I think this is going to be more of a deflation of the bubble before it just pops. So it will begin like Q2 2027, and by mid to late 2028, it is going to have completely burst by that point. So a lot of the AI things you're going to see are going to get completely pulled away. And then, so the final factor is the PlayStation 6 and Project Helix both releasing in late 2027. Now, we already know sales weren't very great for holiday of 2025. And if you think it got better this year, think again. Now, keep in mind how everyone just bought Grand Theft Auto 6. Are they going to spend what, $1,200, $1,500 for a next gen Xbox and PlayStation? No. I'll talk more about pricing later on. And the worst thing is, right now, its console sales are still up thanks to the Switch 2. But what happens next month? That's when the Switch 2 launch. So it's gonna have like 4 days versus Switch 1, and then it's gonna compare to the Switch 2 at launch. So it can no longer mask itself with the Switch 2. So its sales will just be down full. Nothing's gonna be up. So overall, this generation is going to go off to a rough start. And they're going to have to try and find their way to fix it. But now, we're done with the factors, right? So now, I want to talk about each of these companies' fate. Now, there are lots more companies I could talk about, but I don't really have much to say about them. And I might say it all in another video. So, first up is Ubisoft. Actually, no, not sorry. That's what they are anyways. So, what's gonna happen? They're gonna go bankrupt in like late 2027 because that billion is not gonna do a damn thing. And most of their assets and all, a few will get obviously sold, but a lot of it I think will go to Tencent, who just wants to take all their IPs. Now, I don't know which company is the assets is the IPs and all in better handling, but all the IPs are gonna go to Tencent, and then everyone's gonna be majorly shocked that a company that just got $1 billion managed to go away so quickly. But that's all I really have for Ubisoft. Not like any major release is gonna happen when they're dead. So yeah, Black Flag's just gonna be the last release that actually turns a profit. Next up, Xbox. Okay, so Project Helix we know is coming out in 2027, and I think it's gonna be the last traditional Xbox. And then we might eventually transition into a time where Xbox is basically just a pre-built PC with an interface. It'll basically be the end of Xbox as it is traditionally, similar to how the Switch started a new era and the Wii U was the end of Nintendo's consoles traditionally. And then there's pricing, which now we'll get to for Xbox. The current Xbox is 500 for the Series X and 800 for the Xbox Series X. That is absurd. And I think Project Helix is again gonna have two models for costs, but it's gonna be a lot more expensive. Like 1,000 for the cheap, 1,500 for the expensive model, like the one they said is premium and everything. You don't have 30, 40 gigs of RAM and all of that. Next up is Epic. I have a lot to say about them. So we know with that Disney deal, $1.5 billion, that they're gonna make 3 games. Basically, three $500 million games. The first being a Disney extraction shooter that was supposed to be, I think, finished November. I don't know why I thought it would release then, but I think they're probably gonna release it early 27 and get crushed. So, Epic Games is gonna think these games are gonna save them, but they're not. I mean, the games are all gonna be bad. I mean, they think it's okay to close bug reports without fixing them, essentially fixing issues without fixing the issue. Hence, the game isn't original, so why play a new game? And then, do you think the second and third game are any different? I don't know. And considering how they laid over 1,000 employees for Fortnite, that's not exactly gonna stay there. So the Disney deal is dead and the Fortnite is gone. And it's not like the Epic Game Store is going to save them. I mean, they got 173% new users and 1.6% new revenue from third parties, so other games. And it does not look good. It is clear everyone comes and gets the free games, and they don't even do that. They go and buy the game on Steam that they're giving for free. For free. Free. And there was also that game, I forgot the name of, where, what was it? Yeah, they split up the exclusivity deal with Epic, and then at the Summer Game Fest, they just flexed being on Steam. What was that? I forgot, doesn't matter. So then, that's gone as well. And Fortnite's gonna be dead, because, well, it's already gone downhill, so it's not like that's gonna be going. And what else is left? Unreal Engine 6? Yeah, one problem. AI bubbles already burst, buddy. No one's gonna use you. So, you can throw that also in the grave. I mean, how many people are gonna adopt an engine which itself, the developers of the engine, have to spend all their time fixing the mess it creates? No, but it's not bad, you see, not bad. It's just of high standards that the system obviously doesn't live up to, so they have to go and fix it. It doesn't mean it's bad. Next up is PlayStation. So, what I think is gonna happen with them? Well, they obviously have Bungie with Marathon. But what's gonna happen with them is Marathon, it's like at 8,000 concurrent players. You really think that's good? Of course it's not. And I think eventually they're just gonna shut it down in like the first quarter of 2027, and Bungie's gonna go along with it. And then there's also Fair Games, sorry, Breaking and Horizon Hunters Gathering, which are coming out. And Sony obviously still wants to do live service games. But that's right now. They're gonna see with Marathon shutting down, they're gonna be shut off. They're gonna stop these games when Marathon, because if Marathon shuts down, Sony's gonna be on PlayStation, going for PlayStation side, because the investors will have Sony side, because they've buried yet another $400 million, like what, $250 million without marketing. So it's probably like what, they spent $400 million because of all the marketing and everything. And they can't even get the game to survive a year. Yeah, of course they're gonna be like, okay, we're gone, because They can't let this game fail. That's why they've been doing so much to keep it alive, shutting down Destiny 2 and all. Then there's also the next gen systems, the PlayStation 6. But then with the PlayStation 6, is that I think it's gonna become a really underwhelming system. So the PS5 sold 4.5 million in 2020, which is 2 months, actually 1.5. And then 2021, they had got into a total of 17.3 million. This is overall sales, not just in the year sales. PS6, I think it's gonna be like 1 million in 2027 because it's gonna be like stupid expensive, which I'll get to later, and like 8 million the next year. Still a lot less than the next gen because the pricing. So there's the base, handheld, and pro, which they could also do slim, handheld, and base. But I think they'll do the pro model because like one, Xbox has it, and two, they could just do a super pro. Like how they did the super slim for the PS3. So what I think it's gonna be $800 for the base model. The cut down base like 30 FPS model. The handheld I think is gonna be closer to $1,000. Yeah, it's supposed to be like what? It's better than Xbox Series S, but like less than PS5 power. But it's a handheld on the go. So you have the screen and the battery and having to cram all of this into a very small device. So that's going to be expensive. And I think the Pro model will be $1,200. These are all subsidized, so they may be losing money on this. But I think in 2028, once the bubbles burst, or so whenever it happens, they're gonna obviously cut the prices and it's gonna look more like this, which I think is a far better thing. We're only thinking the base PS6 would be 700, maybe. So now they're obviously just going into 700. The handheld at 6 and the base at 5. And then there's also PS4 to talk about because now we want to talk about cross generation. Because the PS4 is still getting games, we got Yakuza Kiwami in February, Toy Story in October, Mega Man's coming in 2027. So we're gonna have that. But with Sony, their last major games were 2022 for the PS4, and the last time they ever released anything on it, not counting the classics catalog, because that's PS2 games and all earlier stuff, was in 2024. So I think at this point they're still going to be using quite a few games on the PS5 because of how this is going to be hard to sell. Yeah. Compared to what Western companies have been giving us, which is a lot of slop. Yeah, all these games no one likes. And the oldest one from here is like 2022. Same with the indies. And again, like it's also like horrible optimization. I think it's gonna get fixed. You have all your a bunch of other things, obviously. And the final thing I want to talk about is the media outlets that I think are finally going to end their play and all go. And IGN will last the longest, but that's going to go as well. That's all. I'm tired of saying words.